Welcome to Katie Custom Woodworking. I'm Kevin Dunphy. We're here today. We're going to install hinges. In this case, not just any hinges, we're putting 5 hinges on this door. So, needless to say, the precision has to be within less than a 16th of an inch, a 32nd. Now, I've done this for many years, and I make my own jig. The ones that you buy, a lot of times they're single, and some of the kits only have 3. They don't really have 5, and you don't want to be moving them. Like if you're set up a jig that you move, guaranteed you're going to be off on the frame. In this case, it's a cabinet frame, so stay with the video. I think this is so important. This video, if you master this, you're going to be the king of precision in cabinet making because this will work with small doors too. Okay, so I won't get into making a jig. That's almost another video. You should be able to look at this and make a jig yourself. It doesn't matter if one hinge is off from the other, but that both sides are exact. Now, right here, I'm going with the rotor, and you can see I'm kind of going left and right, and I'm trying to get it flush with the hinge. And the only thing is kind of hold if you see me kind of holding it there with 2 hands, sometimes when you go right to left, what I was doing, the rotor can give a kickback. So be careful of Okay, so I open up the pack here, and this is there's a big difference. It feels thick, sturdier, as the bulk one. I mean, I don't want to put that on my work. I mean, look like an amateur. This is nice. I don't know what makes it more. And it seems like it only has 1, 2, 3 pieces that way. I don't know what it's like to pop out the pin, but yeah, there's a big difference. This was 17 for 3, so $5, $6 Canadian. I don't mind paying the extra. I mean, look at this, nothing. It just feels heavier. Now you end up after with a little round over because of the shape of the rotor bit that's round at the end. And of course I want square. Square looks so much better than those rounded. Those rounded ones look like factory. They feel a little cheap. So all I'm doing is just scoring it there with a knife. Just continue, tap it down, go the other end. Do the grain first lengthways, then do the length with the grain. So you do cross grain first, then I just take the chisel, go ever so slightly, and clean it up. And while I'm at it there, just make sure I'm nice and flat. There's no little ridges, and just cleaning it up there. And, I try to hold it with 2 hands so it doesn't take off on you. I find you have more control. And do not put your hand in front of it or any knives or things like that. Ask me how I know another time. So be careful. And that's really it. Then once I get it nicely fitted and I'm comfortable with it, and I feel like I'm sitting flat with it. That's the key. You'll feel it with the hinge. If you're a little off, sometimes eyeballing it, you can get a little happy there with the sharp chisel and you end up taking too much on one side. So be careful. It's really is delicate to do. And that's it. Now I'm just putting it in. Now again with the chisel. And same technique. Just 2 hands, ever so slightly. Because you see that little edge at the end, that little bit of wood? I mean, if I slipped with the chisel and I would take that off in 2 seconds, I only have like a little over 1/8 of an inch. So it's very delicate. And I want to leave that little edge there. And then once I get it in, I'm pretty happy at about this point. And then I'm going to screw it in. I'm just pre-drilling. I'm eyeballing it. Like I said back there, You get a hole center hole punch. I used to have one. They worked they worked good, and I just misplaced it, and the pin didn't work, and kind of got lost, and I just kind of eyeballing it with the drill. And the trick is when you put it in with the screws, in case you're a little off, go gentle with the screws because sometimes they can pull it out. Sometimes I start it and I don't torque them all the way. Like I stop ever so slightly, like what I'm doing there, and then you'll tighten them up, and that's all there is to it. Now I'm gonna get lined up on top here. Sec. Just trying not to get everything ready here on my table so I don't fumble. I got a little stool right here. All right. So we want a gap on top. How big? This is my spacer right here. It's a touch over an 8. And I'm gonna, I got maybe a little bow because of the cabinets right here. So you don't want to go so tight that if you have trouble, you're in for a rude awakening. Now, I have to make a notch here. I'm sitting here, and I'm sitting there, and that's basically it. I gotta kind of keep it up with one hand. Once I get the first one in, I'm home free. And I did too. I was almost home free. This is pissed off right now. It's only because I have 3 other of these drills. 2 of them are by the job site, and 1 is at home. I was doing work. All right, so I'm left with the 10-year-old one, and it's left to try to do with 2 hands. Okay, let's go here. Make sure my spacer's in. I want to be flush here. That spacer is so important. I can't emphasize that enough, because if you don't follow it, that door is just going to be jammed up at the top. So it's one of the most important things to put in. And then after this, I'm home free. All right, so I screwed it in. Now I'm holding the rotor. It's a little hard, you got the rotor up there, but the more important thing is that jig. I put a spacer there to lower it by 1/8 of an inch, and I'm just, holding it with 2 hands. Be prepared if it jumps. So that's why I got it with 2 hands, and it is variable speed. You can speed it up or slow it down for the type of wood you have. Now, putting the hinge in, I've always done this method. Don't take the pins and try to drop 5 hinges. You're going to be in for a rude awakening because it will be off that little bit, maybe 64, 60 or 32nd. So I'm just letting the hinge go on both sides loose. I got weight there taking the weight of the door up, and I'm just gently screwing them in, just pre-drilling, trying to keep it straight. There is a hole punch you could buy, center punch. I haven't used it. I couldn't find a good one. I had one, it broke. Whatever the reason I use, but I'm okay with doing it like this, and I'm just fitting it in. Um, I'm going at the top, coming down. Then now I'll go at the bottom, and I have no problem. I've done so many of like doors like this with 5 hinges. Um, And what's great about it, your door won't sag. And not only that, I got the weight spread out. That's only a door frame or a little frame of wood. That's not the same as a door frame when I get screwed in. Yes, I think when I get this screwed into the wall, it's going to be really be able to take the wall. The only other thing that was done after I took out that piece of wood there, that was stupid. That was overkill. I really wasted my time putting that in there. So I cursed myself on that one. Um, it would have been better after if I get the middle shelf in, I'll screw it in and I'll keep the cabinet nice and square when I know I got that frame nicely 100%. Um, it's really like if you ever see a piano maker, it's just you know going nice and easy there. And in about 1 minute, I'm going to start tightening the other ones in now. You see the way I did it? Now I'm going along. I know I'm all started. I'm nice and straight. And there you go. That's all there is to it. And it works like a charm. And the other thing is, I'll explain about adjustment. Like if I took a little shim and moved it over, but I was overreacting in the sense that I can only really tell if I have this screwed in how much adjustment I'll need. I got it. Just come around. We'll show here for a sec. And let's see if I can get this one in. Now, I'm tight there, and my gap over here has a little. I'm okay with that. When I go with the install, I'm gonna cut a little piece of laminate and push it over a little bit. I wanted it tight like that. I didn't want any binding with it trying to go exactly because I prefer this. But it's decent. One thing that I do know on top, I got my top pretty damn perfect on top. I'm happy about that. My bottom, I have a little room because I want a piece at the bottom so when you open, you don't see the top of the molding, or I'll put the molding there with the finished edge, one or two, but I do have to finish that bottom. All right. And I'll just show you what I mean. One sec. See right here? Look at this. See how much play you have? Because you're dealing with a lot of weight, eh? Right here, I got, like, you gotta be careful with the cabinet. One time I was doing the glass door, and I showed a young guy, like, they were supposed to install it, this construction company. Anyways, they had a young guy. Anyways, I won't say young, he wasn't listening to me. But I warned him that when you get full doors like this into a cabinet, and those glasses door into a curio cabinet, and that when you install it, you gotta be so careful because you have torque here. See what I mean? So that's why when I install this, I know I got to put my shims here. I want to push this over because obviously I'm not going to have the gap tight like that. But it gave me a chance to see here I'm decent. But over there, I got a little bit of a V here, but I think I can hide it. I think I'm only talking about less than a 1/16 of an inch. So that's it. Do. Did it. I'm going to conclude this video. I apologize if I'm going to come a little closer because I don't have the microphone on. Sometimes I lose it when I'm working like this. I have the doors dry fitted here, and I'm just making sure that everything's okay. The big thing, if you're in a garage or shop, and if you're doing it, even if you're doing it for yourself, make sure things fit. You have to deliver. There's nothing worse than taking something like this. This was new to me. Doing it on a cabinet, it wasn't like a frame. That's why this is all built up. And so I want I wouldn't have used 3 hinges for this. No way. That door is heavy. This isn't some hollow door. So I would have used 4, but you know what? Do one extra, put 5, and I have my spacing. I showed these in the video, and I was being like cheap. I managed to get all this for like $70. I said, you know what? I am being stupid cheap. So I'll show you like right here. You can see the difference in thickness compared to these. These are M-Tech. They have ball bearings, totally different. You know, it is a bigger hinge. I put a smaller because I'm putting 5 hinges in there. I have found one on Amazon that I really love. It's $350, and they're gold, like called gold plated. There's polished brass, and they look amazing. And they'll highlight. They'll look, you know, like expensive earrings. They have teardrops there. So don't do it. So now I got everything almost ready. We're getting it. We're getting close for delivery. I only have a couple of months inside there. We got everything lined up. I've been busy for like the past couple of months in the shop, getting everything ready, making sure everything's, you know, I'm not gonna worry about any type of finish problems or things like that. I want it done right here. So I got everything ready. I'm happy. I'm over the moon on the color of everything and the look that we created. So look at the videos. I showed how to make this. I showed basically how to make the doors, everything else. And also I show the tool views because yeah, we use a lot of tools, and I'm just trying to share our experience. And I love tools. I love having good tools, having pride. I'm not going to start getting Princess Auto type tools. So subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you realize the method to my madness. Because the last thing I'll say, to buy the jigs for these, to do the hinges, I don't think they can do 5, and they're about $200, because what they have is they have a little slide that you move there, and I think you would have a hard time with 5. But if you make your own 5, this doesn't matter if there's a little height here or a little height here. As long as it's exact, you don't move that jig, you will have 0 problems. And the last thing, humidity indoors, because I am signing off. It's simple. It's not voodoo or this or that, because as soon as I hear it online and I hear all these god-awful things, it's simple. Right now, you see me in shorts. It's a lot of humidity. It's summer here. It can get quite hot here, and with the ocean, I get a lot of humidity. So that's why I left a healthy gap in the winter time, 1/8, which is a 1/4 inch. Expansion there, because if I get too tight, I'm not going to be binding. Plus, when the door's thick, it needs a space to go like that. So it's going to drink a lot of humidity now in the summer, and I don't know how much. Nobody can really predict. If I left an 1/8, could it swell up so much that the door could get jammed? Possible. I think I would bet the house on this that it would be fine. So in a roundabout way, just remember, the reason in the winter is you turn on heat, you remove moisture in the house. That's it. You're taking the moisture out of this stuff. Summer, you have windows open, you might have air conditioning, you might not have so high. Air conditioning can keep things dried out. But if you're not, and you're just relying on windows, then guaranteed, depending on what region you're at, wood will expand. That's all you have to remember. And because it's at the end of the straw. So I'm not just trying to get long, drawn out, because if I go on a rant, I might go too long. So thank you. See you next time.